Hi guys, it's Sabrina. Sorry I have been gone for so long. It's been like almost a month I think since I last filmed a video. I've just been really busy with clinicals, so I kind of wanted to talk to you guys about my past experience. For the past 2 weeks I was in Trauma ICU, and I kind of wanted to talk about what that was like and my clinical experience with that. This is my first time filming at my new apartment, so I'm really excited. And I'm going to still try to figure out where I want to film, but for now I'll just probably be filming in front of my window, which usually has the best lighting. But yeah, I'm excited to talk to you guys about Trauma ICU. So it was an experience for sure. I think it's something that everyone should do a rotation in if possible at their hospital and should see. So I had never seen anything like this before. It was really different for me and new. I haven't seen patients before on vents, patients that are intubated, patients that are paralyzed, have been in traumatic car accidents, and stuff like that. So it was kind of life-altering, I guess, to see these things. You imagine these things, you hear about these things on the news, but it's really different when you actually see a person that has gone through it and what they have to do to fight for their lives. And some of these people will never be the same. Some of these people don't make it out of their comas, and you know, it's just really different. So I did learn a lot about vent settings and the process of trying to wean people off vents. That was very interesting, and learning about the different settings and the different vent settings that there is that we can use for people. I learned about tracheostomies and pegs and how we use them together. About 2 weeks after someone's been intubated, you try to switch to a tracheostomy and a peg because they actually do better with that. And it prevents like loss of voice and other complications like ventilator acquired pneumonia that can also occur. I saw a lot of VAPs, ventilatory acquired pneumonias, during my 2 weeks in the trauma ICU. It was such a common thing for these patients to have pneumonia, so we were also treating that. Pain was a really big thing, trying to control people's pain, and we were using different medications like morphine, oxycodone, fentanyl, Tylenol, Robaxin. All of these things were things that we were using to treat these patients. So I learned a lot more about pain medications and stuff like that too. Really interesting stuff. I also learned about what it's like to lose someone and to have to perform like a brain death exam on them in front of the family. That was really tough on me, seeing that and seeing the family and them crying and, you know, going through them, explaining to them being in denial about the person being dead. It was just really hard. Definitely, it takes a lot out of you to have to do that in front of someone. And I don't know how trauma surgeons do it, but they're absolutely incredible people for what they do. You have to be really tough to be a trauma surgeon for sure. And I also performed CPR on someone too. I don't even know how to explain that experience. It's really different than when you practice on a dummy to do it on a real person, and that was also very like life-changing. And I did cry a couple times during my trauma ICU rotation because it did really get to me. It was just really sad at times, and you know, seeing patients die and seeing them suffer was kind of hard on me, and I did actually shed a few tears. It was really hard for me to like go every day. At one point I felt like I was getting so burnt out, and it's definitely a profession that I could see people getting burnt out really fast because it is so sad, it is so hard, it's tough work, and I was feeling it after just like a couple days in, so I can't even imagine doing a lifetime of it. But you know, good for the people that do it. You are seriously amazing souls for what you do. You take care of some of the sickest people. I also got to see like trauma activations. So when people come into the trauma like ICU, they have activations where people have different like positions. There'll be someone that does respiratory, there'll be someone that does the x-rays, someone that is looking for like abrasions and cuts and deformities, someone's performing a FAST exam, and someone's performing a mental status exam. So everyone has like their role, and it's really fast. It's like fast paced. In 5 to 10 minutes they have like their diagnosis, they figured out what's wrong with the patient, where they're bleeding and stuff like that. and that was really cool to see. We had a couple of people come in that had been on motorcycle collisions, just like normal car collisions, and just like traumas like that, maybe being hit and stuff by a car. They'd come in and I'd watch them, like these group of people, it's like a team, would perform their assessment real fast. It was all really fast paced, you know, lots of yelling and like yelling out things and directions and stuff to do. It's really different. It's definitely not my kind of I guess pace. I kind of just like the chill clinic paced life, but it was really eye-opening to be able to see what it's like and how fast they're working to save these people's lives and to figure out what's wrong with them and how they can help them the fastest. So that was really cool. I saw a couple of those. My day was kind of from 6 to 6 mostly, so I'd get there at 6, I'd round on 1 to 2 patients. During rounds I present my patients, and rounds were extremely long actually. I didn't think they'd be long, but they were much longer than internal medicine. They could go anywhere from like 6 to 8 hours, and we'd spend all day rounding. Just because of how complex these patients are, we have to go through each body system, make sure we're targeting them correctly and doing what's best for the patient. I didn't know that it was so in-depth, but it is very in-depth, and it takes a lot of time to take care of these people. I also learned a lot about like brain bleeds and like traumatic brain bleeds, comas, and how we try to keep people in comas so that they can heal, usually with propofol. If that fails, then we do go to a pentobarb coma, which is something most people try to avoid, and physicians don't really like pentobarb comas, but if it will benefit the patient, then we will do it. Like a bolt put into the brain, an ICP bolt to like measure their ICPs, learned about like MAP pressures, MAP goals, ICP goals, CPP, you know, how that all correlates and why that's important for us when we're taking care of patients with brain injuries. There are like specific things we are trying to also accomplish in patients that have brain injuries. We try to keep their sodium above like 150. We try to keep their oxygen level above 100. Their PaO2, and we also try to like elevate the bed of the head. We try to keep their CO2 around 40-ish or so, normal capnia, and these are all things that you have to look at when you're taking care of a patient with a brain bleed. So you're definitely always doing like a lot of labs on these patients, like daily labs at least, daily chest x-rays, because you want to look for pneumonias that might be developing. You're always like looking at their blood pressure, because hypertensive crises can be due to pain, tachycardia can be due to pain. So we look at these things because most of these people can't talk to us, and we have to try to figure out what is going on with them by interpreting their lab values. So that was really interesting too. You know, their life is literally in our hands. What we do to them is kind of how they're going to end up doing. Of course, we don't have any control over brain injuries, so some severe brain injuries, there's not much you can do. You just hope that the brain will heal on its own, but we try to make it heal in the best of its ability, I guess. What else did I see? I did get to participate in a few surgeries, so we do tracheostomies and pegs very often in Trauma ICU, so that was really cool to see. I also got to see some ribs being fixed, which was pretty awesome. Lots of like ground level falls and just like falls. I also saw a lot of those. So kind of like a variety of everything. And so I definitely learned a lot on this rotation. It was definitely probably one of the toughest rotations, like mentally, emotionally, physically, lots of walking and stuff. And so I did experience a lot these last 2 weeks, and it was tough on me, but I am really happy that I did do it and I got to see it and that I survived. But I just wanted to let you guys know kind of what I've been doing, what's been going on. I'm now back on outpatient, so I'm going to be doing more of that. And so I'll probably have a lot more time to film videos, and I'll be on outpatient for a while, so I'm excited about that. But yeah, that is my experience in the Trauma ICU. Let me know if you guys have ever had a rotation in Trauma ICU or any ICU before, what it was like for you. And yeah, thank you so much for watching my video. Bye guys.